And we're on. First things first, Nick, thanks for joining us. I know you'll be a busy man, so I really appreciate you giving up a bit of time and coming on telling your story.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. You came with a high recommendation from our buddy Mike, so I'm honored that you wanted me on.
Yeah, he's a good man. Before we kick off, I've got a question for you from me as a British person to an American person, and this is a personal question. Because I'm starting to podcast more and more people from the States, and when I message you, for example, when I messaged you before saying, "Are we okay for 7 o'clock?" It's not uncommon for a British person, I'm sure you know, to put mate at the end of pretty much every sentence,
Yeah,
even
not
though
uncommon at all.
we've never met. Because I've had it in the past when I worked offshore, some guy come over from the States and he found it really weird that British person say mate when we're not friends, you know what I mean? Or we've never met. So
It's like us
I've no
saying dude.
Yeah, well, I've noticed when I'm talking to people from the States now, I keep putting mate and then I delete it straight away. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to ask if it's an acceptable thing to
Nah,
put.
just run it. Let
Just
'em get
run
the
it.
culture. It's like talking to Aussies, man. You'll hear uh I reckon
Yeah,
or like Kines
yeah.
all the time. Like, and it's just the slang or the terminology.
Yeah, this guy thought it was really weird. So I was always been conscious of the people from the States that I've done so far not to put mate on any of the communications we've had. I always write it and then I delete it and I have to remember.
Nah, let it rock. Let it rock. I'm also pretty have some pretty good exposure to, the UK people, and it's just like I don't even notice it anymore. My coach
Yeah.
Tom, he's British. I've known Max for years. He's Australian. And now Mike, and it's like you just don't even hear it anymore. Like it's just how they talk.
Yeah.
Like when someone says, "What's up, dude?" That's how I see it as like the equivalent, whether you know the person or not.
Yeah, that is the equivalent basically. But now I know I can throw it back in there now.
Yeah, throw it back in there. If anyone says anything, send them to me. I'll culture
Will
them.
do. Okay, so I should have asked that before you start recording, but it just popped in my head then. Anyway,
Good.
what I normally do with every guest is go back to a time before you did strongman and how you got into the sport.
Man, by accident is what I always tell people. I never looked at like strength sports as something that like I do. You know what I mean? I've been an athlete, been moving since I was 2 years old. Everything from literally skiing, snowboarding, snowmobile riding and racing to motocross and street bike type stuff, you name it. Anything that went fast, whether it was skateboarding or something with a motor, I didn't care. And then I played lacrosse and ice hockey in my school years, so I was just always moving, doing something. There was no when one was out of season, the other one was in season. You just got used to going, 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 going. And so when I found strongman, I had just got out of the military. I was in flight school, civilian side. I was becoming a helicopter pilot. I was a door gunner on helicopters in the army. Got out, realized that I still want to fly, but I want to fly the aircraft. So I went to flight school and was doing all that. And then in that time frame, I saw a buddy lifting at a local gym called Muscle Mine right in town here. Um, it was the Atlas Stones. And I was like, oh, I've seen, that on World's Strongest Man and stuff. That has always looked fun. I grew up a farm kid, hay bales. I had that, farmer strength, if you will. But I wasn't a big dude, so I just, like everybody, strongman's for, giants. Had no idea weight class strongman even existed at the time. But I didn't care. I'm like, hey, that looks fun. I'm getting burnt out with, barbells and dumbbells and all the cables. And, like, I just get bored with shit. Can I curse? Is that allowed?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So I went to high school with this guy, Jason. He was a year older than me. I was like, "Hey, where are you doing that? That looks fun." He's like, "I'm doing it at Muscle Mine here in Westminster. Come hang out." I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to partake," and I did. And I went out there. My first time lifting a stone, I loaded like a 300-pound stone to like 48, 50 inches. I don't remember what the height was. And he was like, hey, you're not supposed to be able to do that. And I was like, okay. He's like, you should train this. Like that, you might really like this. I was like, okay. So, the following week I tried a different implement. I tried the log and did like a 260 log with. I think I have the video somewhere. It's got the most horrendous clean ever. Like it's so bad. Did the dumbbell and it felt weird, and I did like everything you just max out just because it's willy nilly. Like it's like I don't know. You first write your name in the snow with your pee. You're like, yeah, I did it. And did like 175 dumbbell, and I never really had a reason to deadlift over 500 pounds. So, yeah, this group at this gym called Muscle Mind kind of just like let me come and play. So I started lifting there regularly from like a Gold's. And the owner, Phil, he kind of wrote me like, I'd never done a program, but he wrote me like, it was like just one sheet of paper. And it was just like rep schemes. Like just the most minimal amount of like organization you could possibly do. And I just recycled that. It was like a week's worth of rep schemes for like, a squat, deadlift, bench, and overhead day. And with like the main movements, then I kind of just did whatever for assistance. At the time, I didn't know that was the term for all the other stuff, but I know that now. And when you've never had structure in your training like that, you respond to literally everything, everything.
What age was
You're
you?
throwing shit at a wall, you're getting results. But when you're that new to strength training focus, because outside of that, I was just lifting, like in the military, doing PT tests, like just going to being a bro. I did squat, I did do legs. I was never that bro. And then I did like they had like a local little in-house comp for fun. Like there was no weight classes or anything. It was just like they picked like 3 lifts and like one like the yoke carry, it was a pick, set down, and then a carry. Which I appreciate how cool it was now. But back then I didn't know. I thought that's how you did it. But I was like, oh, that's a clever little like you
Yeah.
know, it would seem fun if that was like in a contest now. Like everybody's got to pick down command. A lot of people are gonna mess that up. And I just fucked around, and I did my first show. The I believe he's like the silent partner at the time. He went with me to my first show. We went out there together, and I did it in the 200-pound class. They combined. There was only one 231. They threw him down into the 200s. And this is, I didn't think, I thought that was odd. But I was like, whatever. And I did it, and I beat all the 200s. So I'm like, yeah, I got first. Like, no, the 231 beat you by 1 point. So I'm standing on podium in second place, and the prize was a chrome axle. Like, what a cool, like a legit axle, but it was chrome. And I was like super salty. I don't like losing. Nobody that's competitive likes losing. And I'll never forget it. The promoter walks up and says to this 231-pound guy, he goes, hey, this won't do you much good, but here's your 200-pound invite to nationals. And I was like, I kind of looked at Randy. I was like, that don't seem right. He goes, yeah, it's not how that works. I don't know why they did it that way. That just lit a fire in my ass. I'm like, well, if that happens again, if that's what they do in the sport, I'm going to just make sure it doesn't happen again. So I'm going to just get stronger. And then I competed again locally. I think I got second by like half a point. And then I won Maryland's Strongest Man. But at this other local show, I met a guy named Brian Alger. Neversate.com or Neversate Athletic Popular YouTube channel.
I've watched him, yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of like the Muscle Mind group is who introduced me to strongman, and then Brian is who really introduced me to like coaching and like a mentor, like really like a higher level of diving deep into like programming, and where I learned how to program and coach myself, you know what I mean? So I get introduced to him at this contest, and it's a max deadlift. And I didn't know anything about it. I was just going to go up, pull 500 on my first attempt to be done. Because I was having fun. He goes, what are you going to pull? I was like, I was just going to pull 500, be done. So he goes, all right, I watch 500 pull. So I pull it, routine, like a solid, like 70%, give or take. Like, very smooth, very easy. I wasn't struggling. And he goes, "Why are you stopping there?" I was like, "What do you mean? I'm just never." He goes, "Pull 525 on your second attempt." I was like, "You sure?" He goes, "Do it." I was like, "Okay." Pulled 525. And I was like, "Oh, shit, okay." And then on third attempt, he goes, "You're gonna pull 550. Don't stress about it. You got it." He goes, "Just you're gonna work a little hard." So I did, and hitched it just a little bit. Uh, Relatively, the effort I put into a max ever deadlift now, looking back on that's like, I'm like, oh, that even then that wasn't my max. And I was like, oh shit, he figured that out just by looking. I want to learn. I want to learn that. And he's like, dude, come out. You're strong. We're 2 miles from. I told him where I live. He's like, oh, it's the farm. It's on a farm property, like 19 acres, private facility. They come out. I got you. And fast forward, he prepped me for Maryland's. I won Maryland's and then qualified for nationals. Won nationals, not knowing what to expect. I was like, oh shit. And then I got a 200-pound invite to the Arnold, and there wasn't a 90-kilo division yet at the Arnold. It was 80, 105, and open. So that's where I got a taste of like, and back when I did the Arnold those 2 years, it was like Anthony Furman, Terry Rady, like it was like really, really competitive. Like, not that it's not competitive now, but they were pretty dominant wives, and I just had no idea, right? So, my first, big show like, in the wives, and I think in the 200 pounds, I still weighed like 190 pounds. I wasn't even, I didn't know what a weight cut was in strongman yet. So I show up, sweats, stuff, and they're like, hey, weigh in. I was like, okay, just step on it. It's like 194, fully clothed. And they go, you're overweight. I was like, what do you mean? There's no way. I'd have to show up with like weights. And they're like, aren't you a 175? I was like, thank you very much. Like, you're 231? I was like, yeah. And then I show up to the rules meeting and I see how big the 231s are. These guys are cutting from 260, 250 pounds, 120 kilo dudes. And I'm like, oh shit, like, these are big boys. And I did all right. It was like a field of 40. I did, I think, 15th my first year there, and I was stoked. I was like, shit, if I can bang with these big boys, maybe there's something to this. And the second year I did the Arnold, I actually got third on the circus dumbbell and did well on the carry. Got boat raced on the static stuff for the most, like the deadlift and the log, just because they're bigger, stronger. But I had fun, and that's where I kind of met Terry. And I had some like AFib stuff at the time. Didn't know why, and this was still natty, right? Do you talk about that stuff on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything goes.
So like, I was a late bloomer when it came to, enhanced, right? I didn't know anything about it. I didn't really know people were doing it. I kind of knew of it. But that 2018, 2019, 2018 OSG was my first OSG and missed podium by a point. And I was completely natty, doing the Arnold completely natty in the 200 pounds. I was so green. And then met Terry, and I was like, hey, I had this heart palpitation. He's like, I've been there, I got you. And kind of really helped me understand my nutrition, things from like beet powder that can help with heart health and things like that. So like, I kind of and then I went from Terry, and then I found Max. And Terry just had a big client load, and I was needy in the sense that I was so hungry for information. He's like, dude, I'm swamped. I can't give you that. Like, and we were friends outside of it. So like, I was like, cool. I respected him letting me know. And I hit up Max, and Max is who coached me into my world title in 2021, Max McCall. Narumu's coach, the previous champion before me, absolute stud. Really, I think that 2019 year when Narumu won, and really like commandingly won. That was the last year there, I think, in the 90 kilo division. There was a huge, a very dominant win at the world final. And that was Narumu. And I think what that did was he kind of showed everyone what's possible. So, like, I was just like, whoa, like, he's really good. And got with Max after that. The following year, Max, there was no 2020.
Yeah.
Because why have a world championship when no one can travel?
Yeah.
And Max really just, I mean, from blood work to to, having me really educating me on nutrition and coaching me and training a way that I never trained before. Really just transformed. I got my start at this little place called Muscle Mind. They took me under their wing, got introduced. That's how I fell in love. And I met Brian. He really kind of gave me the fire and the tools to be competitive. And got with Tate. Like I kind of
Yeah.
I grew to each person and each stage where that all happened. And then now I'm with Tom Hibbert, with Winning Strength, and Mike is my nutritionist. Max is who put me with both of them. Max still, is someone I lean on heavily for advice and things and all that stuff. And he's who put me with them. I was having some really bad nerve pain on my back, dating back to military injuries. And he's like, this is where I love Max to death. He's like, hey, I know a guy that's better equipped for back rehab than I, and I want to put you with them. He was my mentor. I was like, say less. I trust Max wholeheartedly. And I mean, what coach gets rid of a world champion, right? Like, what coach lets a world champion go? And that's just the testament of who these guys are. Like, they put the athlete first, like their well-being. And he put me with Tom. We've rebuilt. I've bounced back. And Max like, hey, I want someone that can handle your needs with the AFib stuff. I'm gonna put you with this guy Mike. He's been doing a really good job. He's gonna be great for you. And again, Max is right. Mike has been fantastic. Deep dives on everything, and that's kind of really how I got here, by accident and just falling in with some of the right people that care, people that that aren't in it for their selfish reasons. And Tom is the methodical, the surgical to my chaos, and Mike and I just kind of like doing nutrition with him. Just kind of, for me, our dynamic is like very like really like he's telling me about nutrition, the updates on the plan, but we're laughing and having fun along with it. I'll hear about something like, hey Max, what's this compound? And he will just paragraph. So I think I just found some really autistic people that really like this shit and have good hearts.
Yeah.
That's what I got here.
So I was building up some questions then through that and see if I can remember them. But it's something that I've found common with every athlete I've spoke to so far is this initial sort of strength that shocks people. I pretty much found that with everyone that I've spoke to. Someone's pulled them into the gym or whatever, and they've done something, and people are like, "Wow, you should." So it seems to be a very common theme amongst like the champions and just the elite that I've done so far. Moving on to Brian, actually, he was one of the. I've never met him or spoke to him, but when I was looking into getting into strongman, which was over COVID, I got into it crazily a little bit. I come across his videos and I thought, I want to start a gym. So I'd never done strongman in my life, and I rented a unit, bought equipment, and started a gym off watching his videos, which is quite crazy. So I remember that place that you said that was like out in the. It's like almost a barn.
That's where I'm training now. Yeah.
Yeah. He puts out some really good content, doesn't he? Really good content.
I'll make sure to pass that on. It's kind of cool to hear that.
Yeah.
Even when I was on YouTube pretty avidly, and I hated doing how-to videos. I'll still get people like, hey, I learned kegs from your video. Or like, hey, I learned some circus dumbbell from one of Brian's videos. It's awesome. I loved watching you guys. It's like, I was like, oh shit, we were like, it was helping people.
Yeah, it does, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
From all over the place. Like I said, it literally spurred me on to go and get a gym and start a gym, and I've sold it on now, but that gym's still running today.
Yeah, it was a nightmare, wasn't
COVID. It was what? Sorry.
I said it was a nightmare, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about the military and detour at a certain stage, because I'm ex-military as well, so it'd be good to sort of. I was like an engineer. I'd done like 11 years from 2002. Wow. 2002 to about 2013. When did you use it in around
I got
2013? Was it?
in end of 11, early 2012, and got out mid 2016.
What made you come away from it?
I did everything the Army asked of me, and then when it came time to re-up, I wanted to continue on, and they basically, at this place I was stationed called Fort Drum, it's so notorious for it. It has a nickname. It's called the Fort Drum Fence. So a lot of people get to, because Fort Drum's a super active unit, from their infantry brigades to their assault helicopter battalions. They're very just like, you've seen Black Hawk Down,
Yeah, yeah.
10th Mountains, who got those guys out. Like they're shit hot. They deploy all the time. So people like get there early in their career in the PCS. They get deployments under the belt. They get to go do, the Army stuff, and then they move on and become like drill sergeant or whatever, and progress or reclass, if you will. So basically, I was like trying to get like, and it's cold as shit. So you might have to do the math, but negative 30 Fahrenheit. Like pee
I can't work that
outside,
out.
it's frozen before it hits the ground. Like we were
Yeah.
literally like showing the new guys when they'd come in the winter. We'd open the window after boiling water and throw it out, and it instantly turns to snow. Like that kind of cold.
Right.
And that cold just hurts. So like, yeah, you're a powerhouse brigade, you're training all the time, but I wanted to see what else the Army had to offer, plain and simple. And they gave me stabilization orders. They wanted me to re-up for another 2.5 years, no signing bonus, nothing. And here are these guys that enlisted with a signing bonus. I'm like, I didn't get shit. So I was like, I deployed, I did everything you asked me, and I loved my job. I loved being a door gunner. But I wanted to, everyone I deployed with, everyone was kind of PCSing or getting out. So it's kind of like the last of like my dudes. And the new soldiers are coming in. Of course, you got to train them because they're dumb. I was dumb, when I was new. And I didn't want to stay there and grind it out for another 2.5 years and be that crusty NCO that I saw all these other guys, because they got a bad taste in their mouth from the Army, and take it out on their Joes. Like that's not going to be me. I'm going to about face and pop smoke. That's it. So like it was I finished my contract, and um, they didn't have nothing on the table for me that really seemed appealing. I wanted Hawaii. I wanted someplace warm. But at that point, I probably would have taken anything they'd have thrown at me other than staying at Drum.
Yeah.
Like I was literally burnt out from 6-month winters. Like that's what it came down to. I was like, I want to change the scenery. Like you just got to go to Drum to understand, like, it's gray all the time, it's cold, the summers are short. Like it's fall one day, then the leaves fall, then the snow's on the ground. You don't see grass from October to April, May. Like it's gnarly. So I just, you know, I was
Yeah.
I was over it, and I'm like, I'm gonna see what's out there, what life has to offer.
I deployed a few times with not suppose with Americans, but they were there like in Iraq and Afghan, and we used to love going over to their side of the camp because the cookhouse was they had lots more food than what we got, and the
Yeah,
ration packs used to get a lot nicer stuff than what we got. So if you moved into a place and the Americans had been there, they used to like leave the rations behind for us because they
the
knew we loved
MREs
them.
and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were much
I don't
nicer
know
than
why people
ours.
complain. I fucked with the MREs. I liked them.
Yeah, I'd like to live off them for 3 months, but we like when you guys moved out of there, you left loads for us, so we were just like eating all them until we had to go back to our rubbish. But yeah, it was had some good times. Like met some good people
Yeah,
over there.
I got to meet some like the SAS boys, and
Yeah,
they loved our Blackhawks. Like they're
yeah,
like,
yeah, but
hey Mike, can we get a picture with your Black Hawk? I was like,
yeah,
fuck yeah. We had a shutdown at Kabul, at Kia, the international airport in
yeah,
Afghanistan, and you'll meet Greek Air Force, British, German, like all of NATO's got, they got their piece of real
yeah,
estate there. And it's Shank. We were in this shithole armpit of Logar province called Fob Shank. It had the nickname Rocket City. We took like 400 rounds of indirect fire in like 8 months. So it was every day. It was
yeah,
every day. And the first day you get off the plane, you hear boom, you hit the fucking deck. You're like, oh God, find a bunker. And then like by month 3, you're like sitting on the porta shit, or you hear the alarm go off, and your round's coming in, and you're just like, if this is
Yeah.
how I go, I'm not cutting it off again. I'm a finish.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing. Like in Iraq, you're getting IDF'd all the time, and at first you're taking cover and that, and then after a while, it literally just if I was in bed and the siren was going and you could hear them coming in, it just turn over and put me body armor there and a
Yeah.
helmet, just rest it, and then just go back asleep because he's that used to it happening. You think if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
The problem with Shank was they actually had our sleeping area zeroed early on in the deployment, so we had to move our whole operation to the other side of the fob. There was a lot of like dead zone in the fob because of the IDF, and you weren't supposed to walk off any trail because like one of the Czech EOD guys stepped on an IED inside the fob, and sometimes it's old Russian ordnance. Sometimes they like threw it over the thing like you didn't know, so you did not walk off the beaten path. We had sandbags 3 high around our room, and we had our mattresses just on the floor like foot to foot. Me and my roommate, Alcy, I was actually the best man in his wedding last weekend. Still talk to him. That's still my boy. Um, he was another door gunner. We slept on the floor. Uh, we had our mattresses down low because they initially give you bunk beds, and then a couple guys got smoked in their beds. Came through the sleeping tent. Then the medic tank got hit. That wounded a bunch. So like we put our shit on the floor because like you'd go to Bagram, which is a big fob in the IDF Hormigov. People be like, then you'd hear it hit off in the distance. That wasn't the Shank reality. Like you'd hear the round, like boom. Oh fuck! And then there's one or two more coming, so you hold, and then you get up and run to the bunker. So like if the alarm caught it, the PTID, the blimp, you hit the deck on that first buzz, like that. You were on the ground, like it was reflex. So you would know. We stood out when we went to places like Bagram. That alarm would go off, like you'd see the whole air crew just boom on pancake, like immediately, and then we're like, ah, fuck, we're in Bagram. We got to stress like that, But it kind of gives you a sense of pride for whatever reason. It's like I had it worse than you, like blah blah blah, like and looking back, like how ridiculous is that? Like, oh, I had it harder than you. It was worse. Like we were getting our fob was getting blown. They hit our power grid. Like we went blackout, not even by voluntary. And then finally, they fixed the power grid. And the Afghani that drove the bus from one end of the fob to the other, incoming came in. He dives onto the floor of the bus while it's moving, runs into the new power generator things that they just put in, and we lost our grid again.
We best return it back to strongman.
Yeah. You can't put two bets together. You just can't.
Yeah, I know. You could sit and just talk war
Yep.
stories all day. Okay, so where was I? I've lost my point now. Okay, so coming through from your journey of sort of just playing around, going in for a bit of fun. At what point did you switch over from this is just playing around to this is now serious and everything else becomes a lot more serious with it?
When I missed podium by a point at my first official strongman games, the world final.
What year was your first one?
2018.
2018. So your
Yep,
first
Aaron Foundry
OSC.
beat me by a point for third. Devin Reese won. I feel terrible. I can't remember who came in second. God, I'm sorry to see this. I'm so sorry. But yeah, that's what did it for me was getting. And I had no idea. Like I still to this day when I'm competing, I don't really pay attention to points while it's happening.
No, I'm the same. I'm the same.
I'm not a strategist. If my coach is there, let him handle that. I can't be. One reason, math. I will mess that up. But yeah, that was kind of like the real like that lit a really big fire under me and made me realize like I'm competitive with the best. Like I am right there.
What was the changes that you needed to make?
What was that?
What was the changes that you needed to make and you did make?
Nutrition and recovery and deciding to, get on gear helped. And early on my gear was geared towards recovery. Like it was less is more approach. And thankfully I had people in my corner that viewed it that way, and I hate hearing when coaches push gear. I hate it. You got coaches that are ruining athletes like permanently, and I haven't had any real, complications. I mean, I shave my head now, but I think I was predisposed. My hair was thinning slightly before it all that, so I think it just maybe expedited it a little bit, if anything. But that is what it is. But luckily, I haven't had any really complications because I've always had like a very nurturing hand with trying to understand that, leaning into people that I could trust, and rightfully so. They weren't in it to add world titles to their belt. They liked this shit. So that kind of gave me that little extra 1%, but it was really just, I think, the minds that I got with as far as coaching and all that stuff, and really learning how to dial in my nutrition, because I ate simply like chicken, beef, rice, spinach, and I still mainly eat that way. I have a very simple palate, but it's all the other stuff that they kind of add in with vitamins and sleep supplements and the blood work and reading the blood work and making adjustments on my nutrition with the blood work and things like that, that really kind of just make the fire burn that much hotter. When you're on, man, when everything is locked in, like you feel like so confident because you've been doing it all. Right? You're doing everything you're supposed to, and the only thing that's left to do is just run it. And the cards will fall how they fall. I think every top guy, counts on themselves to win. That's how it should be. But at the end of the day, the reality is like the cards will fall how they fall. The only thing you can do is the best you can do. You can't control how strong someone else is. But especially in the 90s today, man, I mean, you got like 12 guys that can win a show at any given time.
Yeah.
Like, good thing there's not sports betting, because the 90 kilo division would take a lot of money from a lot of people.
Yeah. What age was you at your first OSG? You're still quite, well, fairly young, really, aren't you?
32 now. OSG, I was 31, 30. See, this is why I don't track points. 31, 30, 29, 28, 26. So
26,
2018, 25?
25.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd had a bit of experience, you had a bit of age behind you. You coach as well now, don't you? You coach quite a lot of different clients in different sports. Do you still do
Yeah,
that,
man.
or is that?
I was actually, I don't coach as much now, but I do coach now, just in a different direction. It's kind of recent too, and it's cool. I'm not gonna lie. It's fucking cool. But I'll get to that. Because it was like just announced within like the last month. So I kind of started coaching class. Like Brian, he was
Yeah.
like, "Hey man, I need help." He's like, "You're here already. You help people. Do you want to coach?" I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing." And he's like, "You do. I see how you're good at this." I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll coach." So I started coaching the 5 o'clock and 6:15 class alongside Brian. And we had strong people all the way to like late 40s, early 50s. Deb, of two girls are in college, was stoked when she picked up a 90-pound Atlas stone.
Yeah.
And so you had to like meet each person where they were at. When you're rapid firing in a class format, they got the workout, and it's like boom, 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 boom. So it gave me this ability to coach in a group setting. I learned in a group setting, which I wouldn't recommend anyone to do, but it's trial by fire. From that, I got into coaching like powerlifting, strongman, all the way into adaptive. I'm sure you've heard or seen the videos of me and my buddy Miles,
Yeah, I
with
was
cerebral
watching them
palsy.
before. Yeah.
We've been friends since like sixth, seventh grade. We had known each other for a while, and he was doing a graphic design project for his. I was doing my gen eds at the same place he was doing his graphic design stuff. So we would see each other at school. He said, "Hey, I have this project. I need action shots. Can I come to Never Save?" I was like, "Done." I was loading stones. I had to pick up a little like 25-pound medicine ball and load it over. Then I gave him like a 50, loaded it over, and then that turned into him coming in 1 day a week because it was fun, and then 2 days a week. And he's like, "Hey, I think I want to do a powerlifting meet." I was like, "I'm not gonna tell you no." So, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I was comfortable with him because I've known him a big portion of my life. But it took me going down to like Johns Hopkins and consulting with, these leading experts on cerebral palsy in the world, and really forcing myself to familiarize with where he was in that spectrum. Now he's mild. Like cerebral palsy can be like bedridden and like a life expectancy of 20 years, or it can be just in your arm. Like it is such a broad spectrum, and the reasons why are still aren't clear. Why it happens, and he was adopted, born in Vietnam. Like his background's really heavily unknown. So, but I knew the kid didn't have any quit in him. When I say kid, he's 1 year younger than me. He's just Asian, so he's gonna look 16 until he's like 60. And that turned into 4 days a week, 3 days a week, training, prepping for this. And it was the old school powerlifting meet at a starting strength gym. So it was the strict overhead press, squat, and deadlift. And he PR'd on everything. Got to ring the PR bell in the gym, and that's the one that really went viral. He had a Goku singlet and these pink deadlift socks. I'll never forget it. Dude's a goofball, and that turned into working with former Army veteran paratrooper. Call him Legless John. He don't have no legs. He stepped on a landmine. Dude's gnarly, man. As metal as it gets. Like in a motorcycle club, he rides a trike, like a custom trike, because he's got no legs. Seated deadlifted like around 700 pounds. Trained at Never stayed under me and Brian, working with him. Coached him into third, with at the Arnold Adaptive. Brutally strong. And then Shabi, an adaptive CrossFit athlete, birth defects. And I had to strap him to a circus dumbbell. He was dead set on learning circus dumbbell, but he has like nubs for fingers. So I have a picture somewhere of him literally a wow strap. I tied him to the damn thing, and he wanted to send it. So I was like, let's party. And among other, people with certain issues, disabilities, coming through, we were kind of like, people were like coming to us because I think they just get told no all the time, and we weren't in the business of telling people no. So like again, learning on the fly. I wasn't formally trained in any of this, and a lot of the book nerds will shut up. Like, you gotta get down in the trenches with these guys and really understand how they think, because training with them turned me off of training normal people.
Yeah.
Like you don't deal with the bullshit. You deal with normal people. There's no I can't do this because. There's no I don't feel like. There's none of that. None of the normal excuses of doing it. It's like, I don't know, let's try. That's usually their response. And I was like, yeah, like this is nice. Like I get down with this. I kind of stopped coaching for a while. I still like check in. Miles and I see each other. Like we just hung out the other day. We took him shooting, taught him how to shoot a pistol, which probably wasn't my best idea either. But
I watched that video.
Yeah, he did better than you thought. He only threatened me with it once, so that's a good day.
How important do you think it is to have a coach when doing strongman?
I think it depends what your goals are. If you're just having fun, depends how what that means to you. If you just like training and doing the stuff just to do it and going out and competing and seeing where the cards fall, like that's. But if you like want to even just be competitive at like a state or local or say even national amateur level, I think it's very important. Like their coaches keep you from making a lot of dumb mistakes. And I'm someone who constantly feels like, oh no, the next guy's outworking me, and I know my peers work hard. I know Derek's working his ass off. I know Tyler Davis is working his ass off. I know Andrew Hanus and Andrew Pepio, like all those guys. Sorry if I left one of your names out. I know all those guys are working their ass off. So like, if I'm having like just a shit day or something, or life gets in the way, like my coach keeps me centered. Like he's like, hey, this is a 12-week training block. If you miss 5 days total, it's not gonna change your outcome. You're not a piece of shit. You're not failing. Like you're not like that's okay. That's everything's fine. Because if I miss a training day for, whatever reason, like I beat myself up about it hard. And then if I don't do well, I'm like, it was that training day. Like that's my brain, very self-deprecating at times.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
Yeah,
like that. I used to think that way myself, but I think the older I've got, I now just don't get on my back about it. I just think it's just part of life, and I just try and enjoy the bad sessions as much as the good sessions.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I think it's like super important. I tell people when they think, hey, what should I do? I'm like, I think you should hire a coach. If those are the questions you're asking now, you should hire a coach.
Yeah. So
Eh, Go ahead.
sorry, mate. Yeah, I just wanted to sort of go quite a bit into your 2021 OSG. I'm sure you don't mind
No,
delving into that quite deep,
yeah,
being the winner of that one. So to almost talk about how your prep was going into that, how your mental sort of thoughts were going into that. Did you think that you could win? Was that
I
in your
did.
mind? Yeah,
I
you
did.
had the confidence from.
Yeah. For the first time, like I knew I could. Like, I'm gonna be a guy to beat this year. Uh, Especially coming off of like the 2019 where um, I placed fifth, but I was in ICU for 2 weeks with an SVT. Uh, or I was in ICU for a week, 2 weeks out of OSG. I should not have competed. I was competing in AFib. So like I knew and with my horsepower that drawn back, I still scratched and clawed my way into top five. So coming in, like I didn't have any complications. My back was good. My everything was fine. All I had to do was do my job, and that I knew I could do. And me and Nick O'Hare were really neck and neck. One of my bags got stuck on the bag throw, and the time expired. And I was like, "Hey, what's the rule?" And then it fell down to my side. Um, and coincidentally, and this might ruffle some feathers, but fuck it, let's party. So the rule was if it got stuck, there was, I believe that year was why there's rules now in play with what a bag does up top if it's stuck. So I had a camera guy with me, childhood friend, Army veteran, master's degree in videography, had like Netflix grade cinema equipment. Like it gave you time down to the thousandths of a second. So I throw that last bag, it lands, it sits, the whistle blows, and then it slowly rolled back down to my side. And I was like, fuck, did that count? And so I went to Lynn, and he goes, well, what did the judge say? And I was like, well, time had expired, and it was up on top. And he goes, well, whatever the judge says goes. He goes, but it needs to be up there for 3 seconds. So I was like, glad he said that. Pull my camera guy up, and he had the timer. It was like 3.176 seconds. I was like, and he's like, no, like the judge said this, that, and the other. So I was like, so I met the criteria, your criteria, the promoter. The judge said, and we had like a little tiff about it because like I'm like, whatever. I go like, my takeaway from it is just make sure my bag doesn't get stuck moving forward. That at the end of the day. But in that moment, you're like, that's what you said. The rule was it needs to like pick one. So that pissed me off, which is good because I went into Stones pissed, and I
I
was the
watched
only
that
one.
Stone run before. Actually, I was catching up on them events, and for some reason that bag throw wasn't on YouTube when I was watching, so I missed that. But I caught all the other events of how you did in the other one, and then watched your stone run at the end. And there was quite a few people who didn't get that. I think there was 6 stones, wasn't there?
I
Was it
was, yeah,
six?
6 stones. I was the only
Yeah.
one to get it, both 21 and 22.
Oh right, really? Yeah. 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 It was. So going into that stone run, where was you roughly sat going into the stone run
At
in the
first,
tied for first? So you
yeah,
knew pretty much.
yeah, and I was like, I'm like, I'm good at this. This I'm good at. Like, I'm gonna get that stone. And Max wasn't there. He was in Australia, but Terry Rady was there. And from him being my coach in the past, like I said, me and Terry were still, friends. And we're still friends to this day. But like, he was there, like kind of periodically checking in on me because he knew I was doing well. So that was really cool. And like that year, I think Anthony Furman, strapped me in to, I just had help from my friends. Anthony Furman strapped me into my deadlift suit, and he gave me the like go get them. Like he's like you're in this to win it. So like I had like a couple people that really that were that had my back, and really like gave me a push. And
Did you
so
have any
going,
nerves going out into the
oh
stone?
yeah, dude, I get nervous, but that means I'm locked in. Like
Yeah.
I like feeling the pressure and the nerves because that's when I know I'm good.
How'd you deal with that?
I just let them rock. I just let them rock. I just
Just
let
let them
them,
do the thing.
yeah, just I let them fire me up, let that adrenaline come in, and use that in the direction I need it to go. And because when I get those nerves and I get that adrenaline and I feel that, like, I felt a lot of pressure going into that, and like back against the wall, like I had to load because Nick O'Hare is a good stone loader. Um, so I'm like, he might get it. I got to be faster. At that point, no one had loaded the stones, and I was nervous. I just was gripping and ripping, dude. Like I one motion the first two. I do like a half stop on 300. It's like bit and kind of bounce with it. And I got to the last one, and I did the thing,
Yeah.
and all I hear is Terry Rady. You gotta fucking go. And there's a video where you can hear it, and that's all I heard. And that's when I just went, and he was like, "You gotta get up!" Like all I could hear was Terry, and I loaded it, and I was on cloud nine because like I was sure I was won, but again, I don't pay attention to points, so I was like, I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure I won. And so I was taking tone off, taking the tacky off over there. And Terry walks over, and he leans in, double fist bump for me. He goes, "Congratulations, world champ." I was like, he was like the first person to like, it was cool, man, because all those people that have been there for me. Max couldn't physically be there, but I had, still my people. Max was checking in with me on WhatsApp between events. Like they were all still very present and invested and involved, but it was cool to have someone that knew me and had coached me intimately, knew how my brain worked, there as well, kind of like looking out for me, if you will. So, yeah, man, it was just all gas, no brakes.
Did it take a long time for that to sink in, what you'd just achieved?
Yeah, I mean, it was like a matter of a few days that it really just kind of like I kind of let it cook. It was like I did it, and I went back to Never. So I was living in Arizona at the time. When I went back to Never or back home for Christmas in Maryland, I walked into Never State and there was this goal board behind one of the squat racks, and it said 90 kilo, and it said Nic dash 90 kilo world's strongest man. I grabbed the excellent marker, put a line through it. And that's when it like no one was in there. I was in there by myself. And that's when it like that was the moment where it like really just and it was a moment that this is the first time I think I've really even shared it. Um, that was the moment where it just like I was like I did it. Like I said I was gonna do that. I called my shot. And I had I had the audacity to go after it. 'Cause a lot of people don't just out of failure, but I've failed. I've gotten beaten, and like the one thing all those guys have in common, no matter who wins, is we're all putting ourselves in the same position to potentially fail. And there's like in my opinion, there's a mutual respect for that because other
Yeah.
people are watching, and Monday night quarterback, but the athletes are the ones out there putting shit on the line, their pride, their hard work, all of it, their health. So I was just proud of that. Like I could have failed, I could have missed that stone, I could have, but it all the stars aligned that time, whatever you want to call it, and it played out.
Did you find that after that it gave you a confidence, or did you feel a pressure
I
to
felt more
then
pressure.
to perform? What was the comp that you did sort of after that?
Literally any comp. Because now I'm like the world champion, right? Like then if I get beat, I give someone the ground and say I beat the world champ.
And
So
especially, I imagine going back into OSG 2022 then, did you feel, I know you
yeah,
come second in that, so that was obviously an
yeah,
awesome result to come back to, but did you feel the pressure going into that?
yeah, for sure, man. I still felt confident. I knew, it was an extremely tight field. There was at that time, I think, one of 10 guys that could have won, and came in second by like a point or two to Tyler. And That's no sweat on my back. Tyler's a very consistent competitor. He's a great 90-kilo strongman. You can count on him. You can count on Tyler to show up. So it was more of like, I think second place. I don't know. I got to be careful what I say here. Maybe second place by like that close of a margin was almost harder than not podiuming at all. Because I'm still proud, especially because I was in like seventh going into that stone run, and I did my thing on stones, and then came out and just there was like a 4 point spread between
Yeah, it
like
must have been really close because
sixth
if it
place.
wasn't Tyler like fifth or something and he jumped to first, I'm sure it was really
Yeah,
close
there were the
between.
people that
Yeah,
were kind of leading. I think made some mistakes on stones, and the stones shook everything up, and no one knew which way was up. I don't think
yeah.
at the end of that, I sure didn't. I'm like, did I have a podium? I had no idea. I was like, we'll find out. And they were like, yeah, you got second. I was like, no shit. But a little part of me inside was like, damn, I was that close. And it was, there was discrepancy with some judging on the dumbbells, with him making athletes reset, but the crash pads were crumbling under the dumbbells. So even if you got to the crash pad, they were rolling off long after you had moved on. And as a judge, my personal opinion, you need to decipher whether it's an equipment malfunction or an athlete mistake. And at that point, he had Christine. She had to go and reset her dumbbell. Same type of shit. Made her stop mid clean on the next dumbbell. I'm sorry, but if it takes you that long to realize as a judge, shut the fuck up. You've already now let them start the next implement, and you're only now making them go back. That's on you. Like the fact that I brought it down with both hands, set on the crash pad, jumped over it, started cleaning. He stopped me, goes, and I look back and I see my dumbbell rolling like at a snail's pace off the thing. And I was like, I set that on there, and he stopped me, maybe, and I was hot.
You didn't correct me
I
if I'm
got
wrong, but they
second
just
next to Leroy, who's a phenomenal dumbbell presser, former
yeah,
world record holder as well. So like
yeah.
that 10 seconds cost me, first place. Um, and what bugs me about that, like it bugs me if I make a mistake and it costs me time. What bugs me is when something like that happens that shouldn't.
Yeah.
Simply put. And there was a lot of issues that year with some judging calls. If I remember one with Inez's Farmer Carry or some I don't remember the intricacies on it, but I know there were some judging issues, and I think the judging there's new issues every year. 2023, it was you'd have one division going across four judges, and you have four judges giving different down commands, causing the speed of each lane to go faster, and it's like you got to get on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, because now it's like, okay, I hope I'm in lane one and not Terry Holland. I got fucking Terry Hollands. So
Yeah,
I don't mind
quite
strict if
strict.
they're all strict.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to move on to a less favourable time with last year's OSG. I remember watching it and not seeing your name in the top 10, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Where's Nick?" Oh,
Yeah, I had
like,
my worst performance, man. I tried a drug I never tried before. I did a 3 week cycle of Tren, and it wrecked my sleep, fried my central nervous system. For total transparency, I was debating on whether saying that publicly or not. It was no one else's fault. I did everything else. I was sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night in that time, and then I crash like at the end of the week and sleep like 8 10 hours. You know, which isn't that much after you've crashed out. So I went in, and my weight cut was brutal. I was um, holding water um, really bad because I wasn't sleeping. I think the night of weigh-ins, even though sleep's bad, normally I sleep like 5 to 6 hours at least on a weight cut. That last hard night, I slept like 45 minutes. Got up, didn't lose weight. I was still 3 kilos high. So I hit Patrick was with me doing some filming for the army, and I was like, we got to go to the sauna. So I spent the evening into the night for about 6 7 hours at the sauna. Like I was watching people come, get on weight, and leave, and I was just in there suffering. Um, and then I got up the next morning, looked up when they opened. I got there at like 8 or 9, and I stayed there till about 2 p.m. And everyone had already weighed in and everything. And I weighed in at like 2 p.m. Finally, it was like a half pound under. And I looked at the video and I saw my face. I'm like, I've never seen myself like that before. And that first event happened, and I was cleaning and pressing log, and that clean I dipped, and it felt like my legs were jello. I thought I wasn't gonna come back up, and I squeaked out two laughable push presses. Normally I push jerk. I'd barely even call them push presses. At 310, got on the board, um, and that's when I was like, "Fuck!" Like I'm hurting. After the fact, Mike, my nutritionist, said, "Yeah, one of my other clients saw you and said I don't remember who it was." She's like, "Nick looked not good," and he's like, "I don't want to tell you that then, but I'm telling you now."
It's one of the reasons I went with Mike because I was going through brutal cuts as well, to the point like you said, through the night, an hour's sleep because I'm that dehydrated anyway, and trying to do
Yeah,
the cut myself and then drop so much water. I was struggling, and the next day trying to weigh in and just must be so close to death. And I thought I can't do it like that again. So I went with Mike this year to bring me my body weight down because I'm fairly big for it under 80s. So hopefully, well, I'm a lot further down the line. Like I look now at the weight I am now. I'm 2.5 weeks from weighing in, and I'm one of them that I'll write my weight every day for 2 months prior to comp on previous comps. So I've looked at the weight I am now and then gone to my previous comps and looked to see at what stage did I hit this weight now. And where I am now, the first time I hit that weight in previous comps was 4 days out. And that had been like depleting myself to get there. Whereas now I'm still eating, yet I'm at that weight. So I feel in a much better place. And like you were saying at the start, where you can have a laugh and a banter with Mike, that's how I am with him at the minute. We end up voice noting and chatting about other stuff, but he's been really supportive, and he's gonna come down and sit in the sauna with me and stuff like that in a couple of weeks. So yeah, a bit of a shout out to Mike. Like,
dude, he's phenomenal, and like that's why I felt so bad about, like, I felt I'd let him and Tom down so much because like I was the flattest, like literally to date. I've never shit the bed before. I shit the bed that day really, really, really bad. I had a big win on the deadlift, pulling. I looked at the video, I was like, shit, I could have pulled one or two more. But I was playing it safe because I didn't feel great. And then my big indicator was my yoke carry. That was like the real loud, like, yeah, I'm not doing what I normally would be doing. And it was how slow my pick was. Because I caught everyone a pass, but everyone was up before me, and I was like, eee. And it was just like my legs had concrete. And Mike was stressing, like, man, what did I do wrong? And he got with Max and was like, hey, this was the plan. Max, like, no, this is all right. When I tell you, as soon as I was only doing zero point 0.1 of 100 milligrams a day so I wasn't even doing one full ml. Like, I was a little bit.
yeah,
And as soon as I came off, like the next week, felt 100%. It was like I peaked after the show just by simply coming off of it. And the only reason I did Charnet, I experimented with Charnet going into ASM, and it did not fuck me up like that. I ended up having a leg infection, and I held water. The cut was hiding the fever symptoms, but I was running hot, and I went and I cut almost 19 pounds in 24 hours, and I won. So like, and then after weigh-ins, I went to the hospital, got my leg drained. They wanted to cut it open, but they lanced it with a needle that was on the size of my pinky, and it was disgusting. And then I went and competed, and like I just didn't respond to that compound. Tren A just like that, dude. That's a bad drug.
yeah,
I'd heard about it. I was like, I'm gonna do it small as like a polisher, short period of time, and I was just hypersensitive to it. And
yeah.
what I gained in like static raw strength for that period of time was my dog, sorry, was not worth the way it just absolutely made me feel like shit. And I learned a really hard lesson. I won't be doing that again. That's for sure. So it's just I felt really bad about that because I feel like I let, and they will tell me different because that's who they are. I feel like I let a lot of people down that worked really hard to get me there and get me strong. And I still kind of have that in the back of my head, kind of really pushing me this year into a better season. Because I had a great season leading up to it. I'm just my body for the first time. It wasn't my body in the off season that needed the rehab. It was my brain. It was my mental. But at the end of the day, like it just everyone showed up good, ready to go, put on better performances, and I did a little post after, and I just kept it short and sweet. Like, as much as I wanted to just leave and go home and sulk and feel like a failure and tell myself how big a piece of shit I am or something, both Narumu and Tom reached out to me and was like, hey, like, Tom's like, I've got 3 other clients. I need you to lead the team from the front. He was like, you got more finals experience than all of them. He goes, be there for them. So like Tom did a really good job of recognizing like he knows how my head can get and realizing like that was the little like tough love I needed to really, and I ended up having fun. It was weird at first. I wanted to be out there. I coached, I cornered for Narumu's athlete Joe, and she did awesome in the finals. Never touched a sandbag. Still had a good sandbag run, and I was there to help. All the other guys that needed help with showing them some tacky tricks and some things that I've had up my sleeve for a little while, and kind of keep their heads screwed on straight. And it was cool hearing like Andrew Hanus. He goes, dude, on the stone runs, all I heard was you. And basically, I was like, hey, Tyler's gonna be good at stones. You need to be fast on the first 5 because everyone's gonna be fast. Like you need a fast first 5 and then surgical on 6. And he came off the floor. He's like, dude, all I could hear was like, and that made me happy that I was able to contribute to my friend doing well in an event. Because I was right there with him. And the last thing I told him for why he was in the bullpen, I'm like, fast 5, surgical 6. And he was like, fist bump me, out he went. Like I was showing Joe and Cherry how to apply tacky, and Flash Dan comes over. The Cherry's like, well, ooh, why are you putting on tacky right now? And she goes, Nick has me putting on this first, then I'll put on. And he goes, he told you to do that? And she goes, yeah. He goes, listen to him. So it was a cool little like moment with me and Dan. It felt good. Like Dan's a great coach.
Yeah, he
Him
was
and
my last guest.
the whole MST team. They're outstanding coaches. And the fact that it made me, if Dan watches this, man, it made me feel like $1,000,000 that you were like, he's telling you to do that. Listen to him. This is his thing. And I just thank you, Dan. That was a really big compliment that I still remember to this day. So, yeah.
What did you think of the format, the new format, the way it was?
I liked it. It was faster.
Yeah.
I'd rather go, be done. God, I hope there's never a wrecking ball hold again. That was the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. It was boring to train. It was boring to watch. It just, what are you gonna do? And that event took I think like 6 hours.
Yeah. It was.
That was a long
It's
one.
hard watching anything that's sort of a static hold. It's yeah.
And
So
when you have that many athletes.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to ask you the 2 questions. I give you a little bit of time to think about. So the first one was the top 3 athletes that you've ever competed with, the best athletes that you've competed with.
In like the 90s?
Just when your whole time competing as a strongman, the best 3 athletes that you've come across.
I would say straight out the gate that 2019 performance by Narumu made everyone's head spin. Blew us out of the water. That is the one to this day stands out to me because it had me going, that's what's possible. Like, holy shit. The other, man, feelings. Not in this manner. I don't mind hurting their feelings competing against them. I'm gonna go. Is it someone that I had to have competed against or competed with and they're in like another division or something?
Just you when you've competed alongside someone in a comp and you've just thought they've stood out for any reason that you're like that was good or they're good. Something special about that person that
So it doesn't
you've
have someone I
competed with.
compete against directly.
I suppose not directly. No. It's just
I would say Rebecca Roberts. Believe it or not, she makes everything look so casual. Like from the way she warms up, when we're all back there warming up and doing stuff, from the way she warms up to how she competes in the event, like it's you look at her and you're like, she's not going to move fast. And then she looks like she's just taking a stroll with the frame and she's moving. Like, but it doesn't look like, it's like what I tell people when you see like a really good motocross rider. They look slow, but when you put them on a track with other riders, they're just like. So as far as like someone I've seen and watched and been around while I was competing, like I've always really appreciated how like casual and easy Rebecca can make stuff look.
we trained in the same gym for quite a few years. She's
I bet
moved
that
to a
was
different
cool.
gym now, but yeah, she's really nice, like really
But
nice,
if
helpful.
I had to go with someone I've competed against for that second one was such a hard one. Like my brain moves so fast with it. I mean, Tyler Davis has been so consistent the last couple of years. Like he's definitely in my brain as far as so like he's just a very consistent competitor. But I would say in one of my first Arnolds, competing against Terry Rady and Anthony Furman, just seeing how dominant they were was incredible to watch, and it just a very at that time I didn't really have any expectations, but I was just like, holy shit, like event after event after event, they're just strong. So it's really cool to say like I got to compete against those guys in like the peak of there, and I know they have controversial opinions within the community, but I'm talking from just like a performance standpoint. That was really really cool, and I couldn't go without saying Nah, because Nah's become one of my, I would say like my best friends in the sport, especially. He's who gave me this, him and Harley. They did the whole little ceremony thing, and I've worn it every day since. And you know, fast forward to 2023, not in final. He was devastated. We did a jersey swap, and he wrapped my pirate flag around him and cornered me for the rest of the day of the finals. So like that kind of human, man. Like a world champ, a competitor. How'd a bad go that day? We're all gonna have them, and to just rally behind the homie like that's what I remember when I did it this past year for all the guys. I'm like, that's what Nah did. That's what Nah would do. And I think he just, when he won, he came, he kicked teeth in, he was a class act. He didn't talk, he didn't really talk to anybody. And I wanted to talk to him, but like I'm like, yo, what, you're just wrecking shit. Like, and he was an animal, and it that's really, I think, what kind of molded my fire, because I saw what's possible because of Nah. So that's why I was able to answer so automatically with him. But the other place, some of these guys do such incredible things on the regular, like Derek getting an Axel world record at Chaos and not even realizing got a world record. It's pretty wild. He's really trended up as far as like the Derek I met years ago. He's just becoming more and more consistent. And he knows what his weaknesses are, and he acknowledges his weaknesses. And he's with Shane working his ass off. Philippe, the current champion, like the kid's what, 19?
Yeah, unbelievable.
He's in that conversation. Like there's so many of these guys that like, that's why I don't know who to say, because like Philippe just kept giving it this year, man. Like he looked incredible. John Hack made a name for himself, and everyone, he's a powerlifter. I'm like, dude's an athlete. I think he was a wrestler.
Right.
I think. But at no point in the videos of him doing the strongman movements did he look like a fat, dumb powerlifter.
No.
Like he moves well. Like don't sleep on him. And I expected top 5 out of him. I was right. I want to say that. I called that shot. I was like, he's a top 5 contender. Andrew Haynes, another one, Andrew Pepio. There's some of these guys, like, I love my 90 kilogram class because the way we support each other, the way we compete with each other, the way we like push, because we know like if I know there's a bag throw and I'm against Heinous, fuck, like I got to be on it because that dude's gonna rip. Here, same way. Stones, I got to be on it. And Tyler completed the stone run this year. You know, I think he had a personal vendetta with the stones, and he, you know, stepped up and made it happen, and then went for a stone world record, I think. So like it's just to narrow it down to two guys when the field's so eclectic on the amazing things that are done. That was a hard question.
Yeah, a lot of people end up picking about 15 people, so you're not alone
Yeah,
there.
I think I kind of like squirmed my way like free of that one, but
on the
yeah, I
flip
would
side
say
of that, sorry to interrupt you then, on the flip side of that, what's something that pisses you off in the sport, annoys you? Could be anything.
there's a good amount. I hate the excuse there's not a standard because it's strongman by the same people that want to be paid for this shit. It's like if we want to be a professional at something, there has to be a standard, right? Or else then there's no amateur professional. So like I hate shit judging standards. Um, you know, Mag Vermag, one of the goats. Shit judge.
It's
He
been a hot
is.
topic, hasn't it, about OSG quite a lot with the different standards, and without naming names, some people are harsher than others, and
Yeah, I don't remember who the
celebrity judges.
people are. Like I've had I'll name names. Aaron, one of the guys, like him and I have had our differences. But when it comes to Aaron, like I know what to expect out of him judging. Like I am usually happy when I see him on my lane because I know what to expect out of him to judge because he's consistent, at least in my personal experience. I don't know who the judge was, but like I said, I had to press the yoke twice, and my yoke press would have been good if I'd have just been 2 lanes over. So it's like, figure it the fuck out. And I think the fact that the World Championship is turning into, I'm gonna say it, turning into this colossal money grab that is funded on the backs of the athletes when you're raising all this money on registration and you're trying to fill an arena and you're turning a contest that should be in several hour segments into this thing where there's no crowd. It's got all this production for what? Because the athlete experience, like as of right now, the least fun show I do a year is OSG is what it is. The fact that I can reach out to someone and I text them initially asking about a media pass and bringing camera guy. They didn't even know who he was so they could approve. So I sent him a picture of the camera guy at 2020 OSG and saying, you've already approved him. And then he says, okay, email me. So I email him, and then I get told it'd just be easier for me to buy him a coach's pass, which didn't get enforced at all. On top of the coach's pass, you had to buy the $100 3-day ticket.
Yeah.
So now you got $150 out of this guy. Why did we even have a media pass option if you just wanted me to pay the $50 and then not enforce? The fact that it wasn't enforced tells me it was just another dollar to be made. And I don't like that the World Championship, we're adding divisions. We haven't even figured out the best format for this yet. I'm a solution-based person. I think if you're going to have all these athletes, we need to run it in an expo format. Look at the Arnold. People love the Arnold. People love to watch the Arnold. And it had its growing pains this year with the fucking tower. Like, timetables got messed up. We were undermanned for everything that was going on. That's what it came down to. We did not have enough boots on ground. And that comes down to volunteers and funds. That's fine, but it was still a good show. The athletes had a good experience as far as standard went, right? The fact that we're running now 400 plus athletes, and the price goes up and the prize money stays the same, like, what are we paying more for? Because you're not going to tell me the best event possible was Madison fucking Wisconsin in the middle of December. It is cold as shit. Who wants to be in the North Midwest up by Canada in December? There's not people are fighting over that. So like, don't tell us this one thing, and the reality is just, bad business. We're tired.
Where would you like to see? Where would you like to see strongman go? The lightweight scene.
Where would I like to see it go? Obviously, I'd like to see it grow, but I'd like to see it become like, if we're talking like, say, like the World Championship. If that's the World Championship, why do we need 40 athletes in the division?
Yeah, it is a lot.
Because like 15 of them are contenders. Another 15, some are somewhat competitive, some aren't. The rest are just fucking money. Like, I want to see it kind of honed down into like a real progression from competing in a parking lot to the top level. I want to see standardization. Like, I want to see. I think that standardization and these organizations learning how to market and do business is how we grow. You know, like the heavies, luckily they have that IGM backing, right? A huge production company, and can do it differently. We gotta figure out how we gotta skin this cat, right? And I'm okay with the world final being like an Arnold weekend, a big fitness expo. If bringing those booths generate income, doing I'm fine with doing a convention center. I had so much fun at the Olympia doing ASM because it was like 12 of the top guys, 12 top guys. So like it moved fast. You felt like professional. The crowd's coming. We drew a crowd. Like people stopped to watch us. And there you can put on a show. Like you can let some showmanship happen. You can do some crowd work. Like OSG, like it's just crickets half the time because it's family members and coaches, and then when their people are done, they leave. So like the people at the end, there's no crowd. Like, and I'm saying this not because I need a crowd, but do we want to legitimize this and standardize this and make this something that has longevity and is a good experience and draws a higher caliber athlete to the world final, progresses the sport? Then we got to do better. We've got to
I was saying to Josh Kowaleski when I had him on.
Pretty boy.
I was saying when he finished his yoke, he did a bit of a celebration, and I was saying, is it hard to sort of play up to a non-existent crowd? Because that's how I believe in the conversations I've had, is to grow our sport. We sort of need to create more characters. We need to create personalities and give people like a personality to watch. So one of the things could be, drumming down the numbers, and then there's personalities within these numbers. But is it hard to do in front of basically empty seats? Would it be easier to sort of be more? People say, oh, you've got to show personality, but it's hard to show it when there's nobody there watching.
It's hard to show it when you've got 400 some athletes and no one in attendance. And thank God we've got guys like Joe Sco busting his ass on production, right? Dude works hard.
Yeah.
And he would probably be a lot more effective at creating these characters if there wasn't 400 athletes and no one to show them off to. But like the fact they have champions coming back, like why are you not creating those characters and branding? Like if you franchise an athlete in football, right? Or American football. Like you've probably heard of Ray Lewis.
I've not, to be honest, no.
Damn it. Like one of the most iconic linebackers in America. I don't even follow football, but I'm from Maryland. Literally one of the most iconic linebackers ever. Just he hit hard, jailhouse, hard-nosed. Like guys did not want to run into him. He made people divert, right? He was that much of a presence. So it's kind of like that with, who was the Man U guy back in the day? Rooney?
Wayne Rooney, the footballer.
Rooney, yeah. See, I know who Wayne Rooney is. Like, he was that much of a character, a franchise athlete. Like, why aren't we doing that with these top level, like OSG? Like, fair enough. If we want to do the 400 athlete thing, let's do it at an expo where it's days and people can go fuck off and do other enrichment. If they want $100 ticket, let's give them $100 ticket. Let's generate some revenue from booth space. Let those pay for the influencers to come. Why are we bringing out heavyweights? No one there competing is coming to see, no offense, Mitch Hooper. It's not why we're there. That's not why we just train for the last 18 weeks, whatever you want to call it, to get a picture with Mitch Hooper. We were coming anyway. We'd rather have that money invested into maybe not even prize money, something that makes it just better, like for logistic reasons, right? More help, more whatever. But I think the world championship is not a format for 400 fucking athletes. I just don't think it is. That's like amateur nationals does that shit. So like America's Strongest Man, props to James, like did a really good job with, that was one of the best run shows in the moment. And the commentary and the commentators are way better when there's a list this long of athletes versus 2 pages. They can do the research. They can figure out who these people are. They can build those characters. And I tried to do it with walking out with a pirate flag. Everyone recognizes it. When they see a pirate flag in strongman, who do you think of?
Yeah, yourself, yeah.
Uncle Nic, right? And, you know, the pirate flag comes from military background, child. My favorite movie ever is Hook with Robin Williams. I used to wear a pirate bandana when I was a little kid. But the pirate flag isn't that I'm some badass pirate. It comes from I do a lot. Nitro circus, backflipping motorcycles, skateboarding. It comes from a follow the dopamine. This is my path. Live relentlessly. You know what I mean? And
it has created something for you though, like an icon, hasn't it? Like obviously before I spoke to you, if you'd have said or seen the flag and like a bit of a picture of your beard, and I know that's you, it's created a character almost that you can build on, and that's
it's marketing.
People want to watch that, like the Giants live. People, when like we go to Leeds or whatever to watch a Giants live show, you can guarantee quite a lot of people probably in that crowd that they've sold out the tickets for don't even do strongman or sort of know the ins and outs of strongman, but they know who Luke Stoltman is, they know who Tom Stoltman is, because a character's been created and a personality's been formed. And
Eddie Hall, the Beast, as corny as some people thought it was, he walked out with the imp mask and chains. Dude knows how to market.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time from these conversations and just hearing people on social media, I hear a lot of, oh, the athletes have to do your bit. And then I sometimes think, well, people don't know how to do the bit. Like, how do you have a personality? You might have a personality, but you ain't got a platform to share it on or to show it on. So there might be people sat there who have great personalities, but they haven't got anywhere to sort of share it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
like, but with that being said, there's guys in the field that are like Josh, Dean McVeigh. Dude is a pistol, man. Like, he's great for like tidbits, highlight reels. Like, one of my favorite things is his madman face while he's carrying the yoke and he's got the GoPro on his face and he sees spit flying everywhere. Then he goes ballistic. Like, who doesn't like watching that? Like Eddie Williams, great. Like, he's great at his character and you know, you got people that kind of just do it naturally. And you know, I'm not being anyone. I'm not with the whole pirate flag shit. It's fun for me. I can be creative. And I bring energy because out of passion, right? I love like that explosion after I crush an event that a lot of athletes have had in different ways is like residual energy, right? Like that's what's left over. That's that electricity. And what crowd doesn't want to watch an invested athlete?
Yeah, like I remember, like after that stone, there's a reel created from after you'd done your stone run in 2021, like the let's go, shouting let's go, and you know, you had like almost a strip waxed off your chest. I remember the reel, it created a moment that possibly Joe was able to, I don't know if it was Joe Scully or not, but you know, that moment was created, and here's this character that I then knew about because of this celebration. Yeah.
I gave him another one in 2022 because I think I turned around and said, "Till the wheels fall off."
Like, yeah, that rings a bell actually. Yeah.
Like, it's just, yeah, man. And some people do it better than others, and that's okay. But I think there's something to be said. And I know Joe like kind of coaches, because I remember doing like interviews with him pre-contest, and he's really good at coaching people. Like, hey, this is what blah blah blah. This is what I want to see. This is how I want to, because he cares. He's a master of his craft, and some people do need to learn to learn. Some people need to get shown the ropes, and some people, when they try to make a character, they do it the wrong way, and it's corny as fuck. It's cringy. It's insincere. It looks bad. But other people, like, it's just an extension. Like Derek's got a character. Like, that dude can talk some shit. But and becoming friends with Derek over the years, I find it funny because I know that it's coming from a good place out of fun for him. So he can have that banter, like this lead up to Santa Monica, right? Like, we're going at it in the comments section, and they created a Discord, and we're dropping gifts and stuff and talking shit. And then me and Derek are texting each other, and we're like, "Yo, wait for the next one I got for you." Like, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
out of love, man. There's no, we got no, we furthest thing from having beef, but people love to see it. Like, you go to a comment section and you're like, this is funny. Like, these guys are kind of idiots, but it's funny.
Yeah.
And I think that adds to it. Like, they did a great job with the flyer that says run it back. Like, I was first, he was second at ASM. Like, let's run it back. Like, and that's bringing attention to see, all right, who's going to win this time? Like, and that's I think the draw to the nines, especially because you don't know. You don't know who's going to win. I'm betting on me. Derek's betting on him. Tyler's betting on him. Andrew, both Andrews, Philippe's betting on him. They're all betting on themselves, and that's where you get that clash that is fun to watch on social, because we're just talking shit, but we're all bullies behind. Like, we're fist bumping. Like, that's what was so much fun about judging at the Arnold for my guys. Like, I felt like really particular way. I felt pressure because I'm like, these are my boys. Like, I need to be on it, like, not skip a beat. So to see them up there doing their thing like that, like putting on a show, like making sure they knew the time, how much time is left, and them like erupting, getting electric, and it was like Andrew Haynes did a great job of working the crowd.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he's a good character, Andrew. I'd like to get him on here at some stage. He's a good character.
yeah, I can make the intro.
Happy. Yeah, happy. He's a happy guy, isn't he?
Former military as well. K9 dude.
Yeah. I see
He
quite a lot of
actually
that.
gave me a lot of tips with old Hank here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lean on him pretty good.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. So I'll start to wrap it up and just kind of ask, what's next for yourself? Where are you going this year? Where are you competing, and sort of outside of that, business wise?
A whole bunch of stuff happens, man, and I never elaborated on the coaching thing, but that falls under this. So outside of Strongman, I am the masterclass coach for the Arnold Pump app. So I am part of Arnold's team when it comes to app, and that was Daniel Ketchel and Adam's doing, the founders of the app. They want me to write the intermediate and advanced level programs and have someone that's like strength focused
Yeah.
in the game, because they do have some strong people that use the app. Like, they just had a guy total like 1,400 in a powerlifting meet, and I was like, well, fuck yeah. Like, all right, we got some strength nerds in here. Let's go. So I get to write articles, which is new to me. Like, and it's been really fun. They help them, make them look less third grade level. I send them mine and they polish it, help me refine it. So I'm learning, and learning's fun. I got the Santa Monica Classic June 29th, and then plan is to, turn right around in 4 or 5 weeks, go into 3 or 4 weeks, really. July 19th, going into America's Strongest Man, and then Redemption at OSG.
Yeah.
Running that back. Count on me to show up. But just doing, the shit I'm always doing. I'm skating. There was just a wedding at Pastranaland yesterday, and as part of the entertainment, Nino backflipped the 3-wheeler for the party. I backflipped the pit bike, and Christian did his double backflip on his mountain bike into the foam pit. So I got to be part of the entertainment for the guests. That was fun. So just being chaotic, and
it sounds like you've got a lot of cool shit going on. You got a lot of cool shit going on.
It stresses my coach out, but whatever.
So where can people find you, Nick, if they want to reach out? Or
yeah, Instagram, uncle.nic. I mean, I don't really mess with TikTok. I have one, but it kept banning my posts. Like anything I did on a motorcycle, I was like, what the fuck? I do have a YouTube. That's Uncle Nic. I post mainly shorts on there now until I have something that I really want to do long form. So yeah, just kind of Uncle Nic anywhere, but Instagram specifically, it's Uncle.Nic. And I have my brand, Admiral the Black. It's not strongman focused or anything. It's lifestyle. It's follow the premise of, follow the dopamine, where your heart goes, man. Where whatever you're doing with passion, like someone cops a shirt, and I don't care if they love being a garbage man, and they send me a picture of it wearing that, I'm throwing it up because that's what they love to do. Like that's the whole thing is do whatever you're doing do it as vividly as possible. And that's all the links are in my bios. The page on Instagram is aob.admiraltheblack. So support it there. Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
Well, it's been amazing having you on, and we could probably go on for another couple of hours there. There's probably loads I've missed out, but I really appreciate your time and coming on and giving us a bit about your strongman journey, military journey, and all the other cool shit you've been doing.
I really appreciate you having me on and giving me the chance to talk. And you're easy to talk to, man. You do a very comfortable show, and anything you need from me content wise, like let me know. Like we'll collab, I'll repost, like all that stuff. I love people that give this attention and give these guys a platform to talk. So by bringing me on gives you a bigger platform to present the guys that don't have the following that I have to them, get eyes and hear their stories. And I'm all for it.
Yeah, happy days. Thanks a lot. I'll stop the recording there and just thanks again.
Thank you.